Thank you, everyone. It's lovely to be here with you all. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, today, as always, is a very special day because it's all about you. And really what this is all about is giving everything. And so that's what today will be. This next 45 minutes is about giving everything, because that's truly what we've been given. And so I just feel blessed to truly do this and to have been doing this now for 37 episodes that I've done. And I don't know where all that has come from, to be honest. But I know that He's with me, and that is the most important thing. That this is for Him. And, you know, this is not planned. I haven't planned anything because, you know, He is the plan. And it's like that was really the teaching for me this year. It was funny because I was been thinking about it, and at the start of the year, the lesson that was being drilled into me was, in my defense, if I defend myself, I am attacked. And I went over that for about 2 weeks, and something was dropping in, but I was like, okay, I still don't get the full picture. This needs to be revealed. And then now, a month later from that, the episodes began. And really, what the whole thing has been about is it's not your plan, it's my plan. Just get in the chair and do what you've got to do. That's the end of it. And so that has taken a lot of trust because of course I prefer to plan. And like, how on earth am I going to sit here and share something? And He's like, no, I've got it. I've got you. And so that's what it's all about. So yeah, He's showing me some great lessons. Because, you know, it's like interesting, we get put into these positions, and I didn't even know what this was even for, you know. It's like, well, why do I want to sit there and share, you know? It's not really what I want to do. But He's like, well, no, but you want to dismantle, don't you? You want to release yourself from the idea of what you think you are. And so I'm going to show you that. And so that's what He does when you say yes. He shows you something new that you don't know. Because you're nothing without Him. And that's the truth. So that's why I'm here to give all. Because He gives me all. And He has nothing but love. So that is truly everything. No matter what you think you've done, it's nothing. He doesn't care. So you can continue on with your little story if you want, but He knows who you are. So that's why we're ending this now. Because we're not interested in your story any longer. And He does not care what you think you've done, what you think you've made. He knows who you are, and He's going to do everything to reveal that to you. So that's why I'm here. Because this is for everyone. And everyone needs to know this. So that's my work. And there's nothing else. And it's like, you know, I love the movie Revolver, and it's true. Where you don't want to go, that's where you'll find him. And it's like you have all these barriers, and he will take them apart because he doesn't see barriers. But you've got to have the guts to say yes. That's really the bottom line of the whole thing. Say yes, and it's done. And it's like, you know, this episode, it's like, you know, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, what are we doing? And he's like, how many times have I told you it's my show? And it's like, yeah, I can't even plan it. He's just like, I've got you. And that's the reassurance. That's just all that's needed. So it's like, okay, there is nothing to do other than to be with you. And so, yeah, it just feels like an honour to really have all this. And it's like, you know, it's New Year's Eve, and he's like, yeah, you're sharing on New Year's Eve. And it's like, wow, what an honour. You just keep blessing me all the time and giving me more than I could ever imagine. So, today's a very special day as well, because I've never actually had a guest on Get Real in the time that I've been doing it. And it has been on my mind, and I wonder who's going to be the first guest. And I couldn't think of anyone better to share the light with and to share the light with us all. So I'd like to welcome David to the set, and ISO.
It's very spontaneous. We had an expert visitor on the guest.
So it's like, I'm here too.
Yeah.
I am the light.
He was like meditating in my lap while Ken was speaking. Yeah. And he just felt so drawn to walk across your lap. That's all right. So, yeah. Well, it's interesting. You know, we sat down here to come on today, and the Holy Spirit and Jesus have dressed us. We were looking at. We have identical sweaters on. Haven't worn this for...
I don't wear this one either.
You don't wear it? I haven't worn it for many months. I don't even know if I've worn it all year. And it just shows you how involuntary everything is, that we're dressed like the Bobbsey twins. We both have a little bit, not much hair. You just shaved your beard off, and now we're dressed identically, like identical twins. And so ISO comes walking across us, but that's just showing how it's involuntary. That once you start to see that everything is involuntary, then your worries and your cares are over. And yeah, it's 37 episodes, you know, Ken wasn't sitting around with his wish board or his manifesting board, his secret board, you know. This was the last thing, and that wasn't on your mind at all, to do a show called Get Real. And then all the collaborations came in. Anna helped with the design, and everything came together. And it's interesting when we talk about true identity, there has to be a way to go from a controlled life in form to losing complete control over the puppet. And that's why we're so happy here, is we don't have any control over the puppets. We're even getting dressed for the show, not knowing until we show up and sit down together that we've got identical sweaters on. colors and stripes. Even the stripes are the same. The neck is the same. I mean, I didn't even know Ken had a sweater like that. But Jesus is always having fun with us. And I think that if we really see that miracles are involuntary and they cannot be under conscious control, that's a huge invitation. Because that's how your whole show's gone, where you aren't allowed to plan it. You just show up and they go, you're on. And there's something really alive and synergistic about that. We have a friend, Lisa Fair, and she would do her first live shows, and she said there's something about it. There's like a rush of energy, and I was like, well, yeah, you are in the moment. It's not like you don't get to replay and you don't have any redos. Yeah. It's just all right there in the moment. And what a beautiful honor to have all of you on the last day of 2020 to be joining us, to join us here and to be able to share this intimacy. Hi. It's so intimate. We're all together. We're all cozy together here. We squeezed into the Zoom room. We've got our blankets and our little pillows here and scarves, and we're all cozy. And this is a beautiful topic, identity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is it. I mean, when I was listening to everybody and all the sharings that have gone on, it's like, well, yeah, really it's about the true identity, and it feels like this is the most important time now for that. We are following these deep teachings, and he is leading that way, and he's saying, you are that light, you are the celebration, you are the illumination, and so what are you waiting for? And so that was the thing that was just in my mind through what has been shared with everybody, through the music and everything. It's like, yeah, you are not what you think you are, and I'm going to show you the true light of your reality. And basically that's what the Course is teaching us. And so whatever that takes, I'm going to do. And so it's interesting talking about identity, because we had the comedy skits, and it was like, you know, we're all mucking around doing the comedy skits, and then they say, hey, you want to try playing the woman? And I go, yeah, sure, I'll play it. So I play it, and they go, yeah, you're gonna do that now then. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll do it. And then the next minute I'm thinking, hold on a minute. They're saying I'm going to be playing a woman in front of 500 people. Oh no, there's 1,000 people that have signed up for this event. There's 1,400 people have signed up for this event. And you're going to be dressed as a woman. And we're going to put it out on YouTube and all of that lot. It's like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what's happening. And it was when Frances said it to me, I just said yes. You know, she said, hey, you were the best. You play the woman. I just went, yeah. And I thought, what the hell have I just said, you know? It wasn't until I went back down to my room, I'm like, hold on a minute. I've just said yes to playing a woman. Okay. So then, obviously, then the deep prayer comes in, because I thought, well, clearly I felt it. And it's like, well, listen, it's obviously your plan, as we spoke about. So clearly there's some sort of dismantling that's going on here. And it's like, yeah, I wouldn't have seen myself doing this, I've got to be honest, in front of all these people, but here we go, Jesus, it's down to you again. Okay, I trust that you're going to look after me. And so we've done a bit of rehearsing, and then finally it comes up to, I said, well, listen, I'm dressing up for the one day, and that's the end of it. So let's get through this. There ain't going to be no retakes or none of that business. So, all right, fair enough. So they granted that to me, and then it's all of a sudden I've got Susan and Anna coming down to my room with women's clothing and bras and all of this business. And I'm just like, what the hell am I doing? You know? But I do it, and Yeah, it was actually really beautiful. I had a really great time. It was just, it was just fun. And the girls were like, you know, pointing him in the right direction, like, oh, you've got to mind your dress, you've got to mind your hair, and all that lot. And they're just like, really like getting me into it, like how I'm supposed to act. Like, don't sit with your legs like that. Like, okay, then what am I? And then I'm messing around with this bra. I'm like, God, I feel so grateful that I've been seemingly given this man's body, because this woman's body is really, really difficult. So I was having a lot more empathy for what women go through. I was like, you do this every day, my God, this is a nightmare. You know, and just when I thought I was done, they're like, we've got to take your makeup off. I'm like, God, I'm absolutely tired. And there they are, taking off my makeup. I'm ready for bed. No, you can't go to bed yet. It'll be all over your pillows. So I'm just learning all that. Okay, whatever, let's just do it. And it's like, and then I'm thinking, okay, actually that wasn't so bad. And then I thought, I wonder how I'm going to react when I see it. Like, what? So that was then the interesting thing. Like, what am I going to see? And like, it wasn't. I didn't have any reaction to it. It was beautiful. It was like, oh, there's a figure playing a woman, and it was really funny. And it was. Yeah, it's like the loosening from the Kenneth character of being this male, and then I'm seemingly, in the name of comedy, playing this woman, and Jesus is like, yeah, none of those are you. And then it was the same when we all watched it together, so I'd only actually watched it once. Mm-hmm. And then we watched it, then I watched it all together with you. And I thought, okay, here's another step. How am I going to feel with everybody else's reactions, or whatever it's going to be, like, oh my God, he's dressed as a woman, you know, or whatever. And I just sat there and I just didn't have a reaction to it. It was just funny. And it's like, you know, Jesus is just saying, yeah, it's just a character. So that's what I found from the whole thing. But how would I have really come to that? Because if it was down to me, it would have clearly been a no. But somehow he's just loosening me up and saying, listen, it's all one big joke really. Whether you're dressed as a woman, whether you're dressed as a man, it makes no difference in the true identity of what you are. So you could play a dog, you know, you can roll around on the floor for all you like now in front of everybody like a cat. It does not matter, because I know who you are and I know who I am. And so forget about the dream, forget about the character. You can play other characters and they really don't matter. So I feel actually blessed that I've got to share that. And that's what I love, because it's like a stretch, because it's like, this is going to be in front of everybody. And it's like Jesus is just saying, it's nothing. It's truly nothing.
Yeah, it's like anything, Spirit will use anything to help us spring into a remembrance of our true identity. And over the years we've used a little bit of improvisational theater and ideas sometimes in our long devotional retreats. One year in the mystery school, we decided to put goggles on, and we used virtual reality. People came from mystery school and they had to put these goggles on, and then the computer generated situations like walking the plank and all kinds of things, where it appeared very real as they were looking through the virtual reality goggles, and they got to face all their fears, the fear of height or the fear of different things happening. But this is the fun we have, and here it is a comedy, to open up to doing a comedy, a skit or a series of skits, and then try it out with different ones, playing things, and go, what's the funniest we can come up with for the whole universe? What's the funniest skit? A holy relationship pill for the partner that doesn't want to go there. And they were telling us, I think JP was saying, he had like 17 pages of chat, where once that came up on the skit, people were typing in, where do I get my pill? I need a bottle of those pills. And we were just all laughing. And you know, that's what Jesus is telling us in the Course. You know, he's not so much talking about Adam and Eve and the serpent and the eating of the fruit of the tree of good and evil, but he does tell us into eternity, where all is one, there crept a tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. That means that was the only problem, was taking the ego seriously. It wasn't the ego itself, it was taking the ego seriously. And so a lot of different spiritualities had talked about the end of the world and the judgment day and the Armageddon, and what Jesus says, the world will end in laughter. So here we are doing a skit at the end of 2020, and you see how willing Ken was to just say, yeah, okay, what do you need for the big laugh?
For the love of God.
For the love of God, I'll do whatever. And they dressed him up in a blonde wig, and some of you missed it. Yeah, that was beautiful. And we really did laugh. I mean, I was in the room, everybody was just laughing so hard. And that's part of the mind training, of learning not to take anything serious. Any scenario, any situation, any circumstance, to have that gentle laughter of the Spirit welling up in you and taking over your mind, so that you don't have to go to a comedy show, you don't even have to watch a comedy program, but you can start to feel it in everyday experiences. And we do have a lot of laughter. I think that's one thing about the community this year. It's been so much laughter. Yeah. It's just springing out from every corner, every angle.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like that. And for me, it's like the joke. It's like there's been this big epidemic, and we're all like, "Oh my God, the world's like this." And I thought, "Oh, it's a really funny year. It was a really joyful year.
Yeah.
I had a great time." I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah,
it's like, I thought it was a brilliant year.
Yeah. If you ask Ken, how's he doing in 2020? A great year.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
It was a fantastic year.
It's contagious too. If you keep tuning in, this laughter and this joy is very contagious. It just starts sweeping across the whole mind, the whole universe.
And and then look how we end this with these, the beauty of what everyone's done, and including like you, like joining us like right now in this absolute depth and absolute truth of like the final day of 2020. And it's like, wow, what more do you want? Like the beautiful music that's been played was just absolutely exceptional. It was just touched my heart so deeply. And yeah, we're all in this together, and everyone in the background who like organised all of this. I wasn't part of the organisation, but I watched them all do it, and I'm just like, wow, I'm sitting there pressing buttons for this puppet. I'm just there, do this, do that, and I'm doing what's been asked of me. But the whole thing was just like, wow, how did they do that? How did this get pulled off? It's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Well, the name of Ken's show is Get Real, and when I think about true identity and the phrase get real, it's really, Jesus is teaching us true empathy. You know how the world teaches us empathy where, how are you doing? Oh, you poor baby. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, no, not really. Really? Oh, that's an example of false empathy. And what is true empathy but the joy and the happiness and the laughter and the lightness of our true identity, which is always there. It's like a light in the mind that just wants to shine. And people have told me, for times they would say, well, I don't think Jesus really wants us to be laughing all the time, or I don't think he wants us to be that happy. I mean, he wants us to like tone it down and be appropriate. And I said, well, what do you mean? Like, can you give me an example? And they said, well, like a funeral. Like, you're not going to go to a funeral and be a barrel of laughs at a funeral. Well, actually, Jesus has guided me to funerals. When my grandmother, Lillian, passed when she was 99 years old, I was not only guided to go to the funeral, but the day before I was guided to go when the casket is there, and they have like a open casket, and people come, the family members, and so on and so forth. So I went there, and they say, well, yeah, please, David, tell me you weren't inappropriate and you were laughing there at your grandmother Lillian's funeral, and the night before when she was laid out in the casket. And I just said, well, I just went with an open mind to Jesus. Use me. If there's anything you want me to say or do, just have at it. Have at it. So I show up, and the whole, they had like a little talk at the eulogy and a little service plan there, and they had a minister there giving a eulogy. And then the minister looked at me, because I was in the audience, and she said, come on up here. I think everybody wants to hear from you. I said, oh, okay. And then when I got up at this service with the eulogy, right after the eulogy, Lillian came right through me and spoke to everyone, all her family and dear friends and everyone. She just came through. And it was very joyful. It was very happy. She always was very happy. She didn't change her state of mind for a funeral. She had so much love and joy that poured through me, because I was just there as a vessel to let my mind merge with hers and with spirit to be used. And then it was so touching that people started to cry. They burst into tears because the presence of love was so strong at this funeral. Was it somber? No. Was it sad? No. It's true empathy. That's true empathy, where you don't prejudge the situation like a funeral or a eulogy or a service for someone. You don't prejudge it ahead of time. It's no different than any other scenario, any other circumstance. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. And what a joy for me, because to me that was the feeling of nothing changes. Our communication, the love and the communication that Lillian and I shared for 99 years, the better part of 99 years for me. I wasn't around for all 99. In one sense, I was. But not as a person, not as a human being. But you know how it goes with that. But it was beautiful because communication was unbroken. The joy was unbroken. The love was unbroken. And it just shows we're here to teach that communication never ends. It is never ends, and it is never limited. And to me, that's part of our true identity. We have to be so willing to be used and to teach what we would learn and to communicate as if we were broadcasting to the whole universe. In fact, when I was growing up, I would go to Bible study, and then they'd say, now let's go, we're going to study the New Testament. And I'd say, what's the New Testament? And they say, that's where Jesus comes. And I'd say, oh, okay. And then I noticed in the Bible, whenever Jesus spoke, it turned into red letters. And I really got to like those red letters from the Bible. I couldn't wait to read the red letters. I wasn't so happy about the black ones, but actually I got really joyful and excited when I read the red letters. And I think now the reason I was so drawn to the red letters is because that was the Holy Spirit, that was the universal Spirit broadcasting to all the galaxies way beyond Earth, way beyond our solar system. It was a broadcast of truth from the Holy Spirit to all the realms of time and space, to everything and everyone. That was the voice for God speaking. That's why those letters were read. And I recognized something there. So, yeah, when the time the Course came along, I didn't care if it was black letters or red letters, and I recognized the presence that was behind the words and behind the letters. And I think that's why we're all here on the last day of 2020, because we're all celebrating in our hearts that we have a recognition, and we're part of a great wake-up call. We're part of the Great Awakening. And hallelujah! we got dressed up for it.
We went all the way.
We didn't have to even choose our clothing.
Yeah.
It's precious.
Yeah, I just love what you shared, because, it's like the Course is teaching us there is no loss. And that seems like a huge thing. And just as you were sharing about your grandmother, my great uncle Eric, he died this year, and so they're all in England, and I get the message through, and I feel nothing but joy. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful, Yeah. And it's just the same as any other message, like, oh, bless old great Uncle Eric, he was like 98 or something like that, and I felt this joy, and there was a part of me, it was like, surely I should be feeling something else, but I wasn't. And I sent beautiful messages to everybody, just celebrating his life. Really, like, oh my God, he was complete. It was beautiful. He's out there now. He's doing everything. And the funny thing was, I'm sitting there in meditation, and I'm like, okay, Uncle Eric, wow, this is great, because now we can be even closer than we were before, without this limited body. And with that, he appears to me. And he is laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing, just like crazily laughing. And he's doing backflips in front of me. His body is just going around, and he's just going, he's just like laughing in front of me. And I'm just like, there you go. Yeah. That's the truth of the matter. Yeah. Nothing has happened. Yeah. It is truly very, very joyful.
Yeah.
And I think that's the gift of A Course in Miracles for me. It's like that there is no loss. And as you go along on this journey, he truly teaches that. Because I think, but even before the Course, for me, it was like I watched a documentary of Ramana Maharaji, and all of his disciples were sat around and they're all crying, oh my God, Master, what are we going to do without you, And he's sitting there, he's got this tumour or whatever, the body's decaying, but his mind is there, and he says, you say that I'm going, but where would I go? And I was just blown away by it. It touched me. I was like, he's being real. Yeah. This is a reality. And so then that has become a prayer for me. Well, I want to know that. And so, the Course is that gently unwinding to say, this is actually a reality, that there is no loss.
Yeah. So you tuned in at the end of 2020, and with the parable of David and Lily, and with the parable of Ken and Uncle
Eric,
with the parable of Jesus, that he showed us there is no death. This true identity is teaching us that appearances are not life. I always tell the joke when they ask Ken Wapnick, what does the Course say about life on other planets? And Ken said, the Course says there's no life on this planet. And I just got the biggest smile on my face. There it is. So we're transcending death here on the final day of 2020. We're sharing this with you. And why don't we think of our brothers and sisters as symbols of our mind? Grateful for their laughter, grateful for their joy, grateful for all they share with us, including Ramana saying, where would I go? Jerry Jampolsky just passed. Also, we had a beautiful concert with Eric and Svava, I think it was on Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday. I'll get it right. One of those days. It's all a blur. So it was on Monday, and then a dear friend of mine named Jesus. When I first came to Mexico, I did a retreat, a weekend retreat in Guadalajara, and then I said, does anybody have anything on their heart? And a man named Jesus spoke up, and he said, I have trouble. I have a grown son that's living in my house, and my wife and I, Sonia and I, are having so much difficulty. And I said, what's your son's name? Jesus. Okay, now I'm having some fun. Jesus is having trouble with the son Jesus. I said, only in Mexico. And this was Jesus playing with me, my mind, because both of them became dear friends, and the elder Jesus just passed away. I think it was like 3:42 on Monday. And I'm like, what was I doing at 3:42? I was at the end of Svava and Eric's concert, and they started right about that time singing all their Jesus songs. All their Jesus songs, the last 20 minutes. And Jesus chose to pass, my friend Jesus, Octavio Delgado in Mexico, dear, dear friend. He's been on our online retreats, always there in the front row. He's hosted me in his home. I've met his family. He welcomed me to Mexico. He came down here many, many times, and he chose the time to make his exit from this world as Eric and Svava were cranking up with the Jesus song, Hillsong, Oceans, Christ is enough. You know, I mean, there they were, and he was having a party with us, and this is what death of the body it could be. It's really, the death is the ego in the mind, is the ego belief system. So you don't have to worry about death of the body, because the body is just a symbol, it's an image, it's made up. It's the ego belief system that's the death. That's why everything we talk about is learning to laugh with the Spirit, learning to join with the Spirit, because the Spirit knows that the ego is not real. That's what Jesus meant by, I have overcome death. He had transcended the ego belief system. Be of good cheer, he said in the Bible, for I have overcome the world. There it is again. He's saying the world and the ego are the same. It's just a belief system. It's not a concrete reality. It's just a belief system. It's a tiny, mad idea. And that's why we're grateful for the symbol of Jesus. He transcended that.
Absolutely.
That's what we do these shows for.
Yeah.
We just show up.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're going to say. We don't know if there'll be a cat that jumps on your lap right when you're going to airtime, then over on your lap, and now he's all curled up. He's got his own little chair there. But it's unplanned. And are you okay with not knowing? That was Lilo's song we heard today, with the unknown, you know, yielding into the unknown. So powerful. And so much just to surrender. That's the true humbleness.
Yeah, I'd love to share my love for Jesus Delgado too, because what a bright light, and we were fortunate enough to be with him. I think it was in March, and it was actually a very beautiful healing on this topic, so he's definitely here with us now. It was funny because I've always had this very deep connection with him. As soon as we met, it was like something was there, and it's very, very beautiful, a deep love. And the last time I came, it was really kind of wild in my mind. He transformed into my granddad, and I was deeply, deeply connected with my granddad. He died when I was like 21. I was absolutely devastated. You know, he was a master. He loved unconditionally, and so that was a big loss in my life. And the next time I see Jesus Delgado, it's like he's like transformed into my granddad. He smells like my granddad, right? And I'm like, Granddad. It's like my granddad's come back for the last hug, and it's like he hugged me like my granddad, and I am just crying on his shoulder, and Jesus is just like holding me, and I'm just like, thank you, Granddad. And it was like, you know, Granddad came back in form. to come and give me a hug the last time that Jesus would be with us, you know, and then he's gone on his way just to bless me. So it's just, it just shows the depthless reality. It's like Granddad's appearing in another body.
We just get tears of joy when we think about these people. And like Ramana said, where would I go? Nobody goes anywhere. You know, there's one of us, there's just one mind, and we're completely contained in the mind of God, and there is no external. You know, Jesus says in the Course, mind reaches to itself, it does not go out. You are within it, and it is within you. We have nothing in the world that even resembles the unity, the oneness of the mind. Because everything the five senses show are showing us separate images, separate objects, separate colors, separate smells, separate taste, separate touch. Basically the five senses are in cahoots with the ego. The ego made the five senses. Oneness creates one. And it doesn't create five. You don't get five from one. You know, it's kind of like the mathematics. 0 times whatever number is still 0. And the oneness of God is still the same. A lot of us have grown up with the metaphor of like a hologram. I remember when they first started talking about it, and I was hearing about holograms, that they were saying the whole is contained within the part. And that's like a mind bender initially. What do you mean the whole is contained in the part? And Jesus does briefly address this in the Course. He's basically saying, yes, if you see with me, you will see that the Christ is literally in front of you all the time. Literally, not figuratively. Literally. That there's just one of us, and as you treat your brother and your sister is the way you treat yourself, because there's just one of us. So that wholeness, that light, is literally there in every individual. And it doesn't make sense from the old thinking of parts and wholes, you know, because we were trained, you know, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. You know, we all heard that one. But now Jesus is saying, no, the whole is there in the part, literally. And if you would just open your mind to appreciate that, you would see that right in front of you is everything, and always has been. And you didn't see it, you just believed it was something else. And that's just the trick of the ego.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Because that's funny, because that was the message that I got. That's why I got the message for this year.
Yeah.
He just said, I am going to show you what is really there, and what you think is not real. And I'm going to show you that true perception. So, thank you so much for that.
I'm going to show you.
So, unfortunately, we've come to the end of our time, but we will be continuing on with a holy relationship next. But many blessings, everyone. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you so much, everyone. Love and blessings for the new year. Let's expect miracles. May the force be with you.